Hi, I'm Stacey, and this summer my family took the trip of a lifetime, travelling to Rome, Milan, Lake Como, Disneyland Paris, Paris and London. This episode sees us go to Paris and London, and we thought we'd take you with us, so let's go see what we got up to. So we arrived in Paris about 11 o'clock at night or later from Disneyland, and we were absolutely exhausted by this point. So we just went to a local shop, got some snacks, some juice, water, and crashed out until the next day. So this is actually a look at our room in our hotel, which was the Maison Pigalle, I think it's pronounced. And this is actually when we were checking out of the room. We didn't get one when we got there, but it was a lovely boutique hotel. The room was very small for three of us, but as we were only there for the 3 nights, it actually was perfect, and it was very clean and a lovely hotel. Again, like our ones in Rome and Milan, it wasn't right in the centre. We were maybe about a 15-20 minute walk, but Paris is very spread out, so we did use the metro system when we were here too. So our first day in Paris, we were actually very lazy and didn't head out until the afternoon. I think all the steps and the heat were catching up with us, and what we did then was head out for some food at a little kind of French eatery just near our hotel. We went for a sandwich, some pancakes and a chicken burger. The food was lovely and started off our afternoon right, and then we headed to get the little white train up to Montmartre, which was one of the cutest, loveliest areas that we experienced. I am so gutted we did not get to spend more time there. It was just how long we were in Paris for, but it was such a beautiful little location. We got the little white train just outside of the Moulin Rouge, and it took us up the top to the Basilique du Sacré-Cœur, I think is pronounced. Now, if you thought my Italian was bad, my French is even worse, so if I just destroyed that, please let me know. But that took us up there, and you got this most gorgeous view of Paris, right over, seeing the full city. It was really busy up here, but it was a great location to get that view from such a great high point. Now, that isn't the only way you can get up there. There is also a funicular train you can get from the bottom, but the train does take you past that part, and you can see it from the bottom as well, which is really cool and is coming up soon. The train just has the 2 stops from the Moulin Rouge up to the top, and we found it a really nice way just to see parts of Paris we wouldn't have seen otherwise. Then we took a little wander round. Like I said, this area was very cute, very pretty, and we stopped and had some drinks and a crepe up here, but we didn't get to spend too long up here because the next activity we had booked for that day was actually a tour of the PSG football stadium. So while we were away, we really wanted to fit in a stadium tour. Now, we did try to book the San Siro in Milan, however there was a concert on while we were there, so we decided to book the PSG stadium. We do really enjoy a stadium tour. We have been to Camp Nou in Barcelona, Old Trafford in Manchester and Anfield in Liverpool as well. Now we booked an evening slot for this as they were having a kind of summer party on while we were there, but it was a self-guided tour, which I think is the only thing that let it down, because you were just walking around yourself and there wasn't as much information available, I would say, as if you were doing a guided tour, which I've really enjoyed at the other stadiums. This is also maybe a newer stadium and things as well, so that could be the reason there maybe isn't as much history to it, but we really did and still enjoy this. It was good to go and see. It was still quite quiet. We went for the nighttime summer session they were doing, so there wasn't as much to that as we thought there would be, but we're glad we went and did this stadium tour while we were in Paris. Now, we only really had one other day in Paris, the way our time was working out, so this was our only night there. We had to get an Uber here and an Uber back, and then we went back into the city centre to grab some food in Paris too. On to our next day in Paris, and we used the metro system to come down and do some sightseeing. We got up much earlier that day and we headed down to see the Notre Dame. Now this was a gorgeous building to see, and looking back on the videos, I can't believe we have managed to see so many beautiful iconic sites in Europe, in Rome, Milan, Paris and London. It's the sites you see all over movies and TV shows, and seeing them in real life was so special, and it's one of those pinch me moments now looking back, thinking I can't believe I got to see this in real life. So we came down here and then we also made it over to see the Louvre Museum. We never went in. All the areas were very busy, all obviously very touristy areas, but it was very busy, but it was so warm this day. I think it was well into the mid-late 30s actually this day, and as I said, we're from Scotland, we do struggle with the heat, so we took it easier that day. We never went into any of the tourist attractions, and we actually went back to our hotel room for a little while to cool down because of the heat. But it was really good to go and see all these different locations, and then we decided at night time to head and see the Eiffel Tower, of course. again used the metro system and went to the Trafalgar stop, which takes you across the river from the Eiffel Tower, and you get these absolutely gorgeous, spectacular views. Now, we used the metro system a few times in Paris. It was very simple to use. You pre-purchase a card and you load your trips onto that and just scan it on. Now, obviously buying cards for all three of you then load it on does get a little bit more expensive, but once you've got the card the first time, you can then keep that. So this was just amazing to see again in real life and get to experience it. It's so much taller than I expected, and we took our time. We wandered around and saw it during the day, and then we were going to head for some food nearby. Now, we knew heading for food near the Eiffel Tower was going to be expensive, but when we sat down, the food prices all seemed pretty reasonable given the area we were in, maybe a bit more expensive than other areas. But what we never looked at was the price of drinks, and we ordered 2 pints of cola, just a soft drink, because we were travelling the next day, and they were €12.50 each, meaning 2 pints of cola cost us €25, and we couldn't quite believe how scammed we got for that one. So that was something definitely to look out for. But then we went back to see the Eiffel Tower lit up at night, and it was absolutely stunning. Our trip to Paris flew by, and we fell in love with the city. There is so much other bits we managed to cram in while we were there that we never managed to film, but it was such a lovely trip, and we now adore Paris, which I can't lie, we weren't expecting to. But what a great place to visit. Our next stop was London via the Eurostar, and our main reason for visiting London on this trip was my stepdaughter was going to be performing in the West End with her musical theatre group from Scotland, which was so exciting. So we don't have much clips from London, but we will show you what we did manage to get. So we got the Eurostar, which was really smooth, a great way to travel, so fast. The only thing I would say is the free Wi-Fi isn't great. You don't really get much Wi-Fi at all. But we were staying at the Premier Inn in the Holborn area of London, and our first stop was the Seven Dials Market for some food. Now, we actually ended up visiting here every day because the food was so good. Here's just a small clip of some of the pizza and burger we got. We also got the pulled pork bagels and the pasta and some sweet treats from here. It was great. And our first show in London was The Devil Wears Prada. Now, this show was outstanding. The talent was just unreal, and we absolutely loved it. Our next show was Starlight Express. Now, again, the talent on this was phenomenal. It wasn't one of my favourite shows, and I think that was maybe the storyline, but we went there with the musical theatre group and the kids loved it, which was the most important part. The next day we did a little bit of sightseeing while my girl was doing her run through of her show, and then we were going to see it. Now, that was at the Leicester Square Theatre, right in the heart of London. She was singing a solo and she'd done amazing. But while she was getting ready for it, we went down and saw Trafalgar Square, went along and saw the House of Parliament, Big Ben, and walked near Buckingham Palace, but never quite got up there just due to our time constraint. But it was great to get to London again. We went years ago, and it was really great to go back and see it a little bit older and do some new experiences while we were there. We didn't manage to get as much footage in London because we were spending so much time with friends and the theatre group that we just got swept up in all the excitement of it. But we did also go to the after party for the theatre group, and we grabbed some slim chickens while we were there, which we first got in Manchester this year and absolutely loved it. I guess it is maybe the UK's slight version of Raising Cane's from America, and it's just a great grab and go kind of food. But that is the end of our trip in Europe. We have managed to get to Rome, Milan, Lake Como, Disneyland Paris, and finished here in London. Thanks so much for watching along. Please remember and hit that subscribe button, like and comment, and if you haven't watched our other vlogs, go back and watch them too. We have more videos coming up that give more details of our Disneyland Paris trip, and we are going to Lanzarote soon, and we will have vlogs coming from that too. So thank you so much for travelling along with us and seeing what we got up to on this trip. If you've been to any of those locations and you've got tips, please let us know, and you can also find us at M Family on the Move on TikTok and Instagram too.